This farm was in the Samuel Heilman family. There's a stone on the side porch with a German inscription dated 1770. We're told that was probably that end of the house where the kitchen and the pantry are. That has stone outside. The rest of it has brick. When we bought it, it was completely covered with white aluminum siding. This place was a project in progress for about 3 years. It was, as I say, it went on public auction, and our son lives a mile and a half down the road on a poultry farm on Bethel Road, and he said, "Dad, we ought to go to the sale." We. That's simple, right? And so my husband said, "What do you think?" And I said, "No, you have enough of work, no." About a half hour later, I thought, but that old house that's over there, and I love those big old houses. I said, maybe you ought to go to the sale. So he did, and he bought it. Well, the night of the sale, at the time, we had Farmer's Wife Restaurant, and I was cooking. And so that evening, we came over to look, and I thought, oh my, this place is a mess. And 2 of our 3 sons said, "Dad, don't let Mom talk you into anything stupid. Get a bulldozer, dig a hole, and shove it in the ground." That was their solution to this mess. And so I said, no, this is a diamond in the rough. You know, we can fix it. And so it took us about 3 years to get it all done. First, we took the siding off. We put a new slate roof on. Then my husband spent 2 winters rewiring the whole house. We put all new plumbing in, a new heating and cooling system for the house, the blown insulation. We just kept taking it in steps. As I always say, my husband raises Angus and Kobe or Wagyu beef, which is a form of a Japanese breed of Angus, and it's what Obama eats in the White House. I saw it on their menu just when he has the president there.
Do you massage the calves?
Pardon me?
Do you massage the calves?
No, I am just a farmer's wife. I am not the farmer. I've been for many years.
Okay.
I don't have a problem living on a farm. Just don't ask me to do it. One time I had to give a cow a shot. And that was the first and last time. One time I helped my husband load pigs, and I told him, "Don't you ever ask me to do that. They're nasty." But anyway, but I enjoy living in the country, and so I don't have a problem with that. But he knows that I don't do well with farm chores. That's his job.
Well, the house is beautiful.
I do. And our son is in Heilman, and he does farm the land here. And anyway, so we decided we're going to take our time and we're going to restore. There were drop ceilings in most of the rooms. The whole entryway and up the stairs had some lovely gray paneling on the walls. Didn't do much for that beautiful woodwork. We were told that the wood is mostly chestnut and it was timbered off the land. Mr. Heilman had this farm until 1929 when the stock market crashed. And at that point they said he lost everything, but he hung on to this. This was his getaway place. He lived in upstate New York. And the last of the descendants from the Heilman family lived here until the late 1960s. And then she sold it. Her children didn't want it. Her name was Valeria Heilman Core. The Heilmans have the largest monument in the Heilman Cemetery by the Red Brick Church. And her children didn't want it, so she sold to Ray and Betty Sadison, and they had a dairy operation here for 29 years. Perhaps some of you know the Sadisons. And then they sold it to the McClellans, and McClellans to Wamplers, and then Mr. Wampler put it on public auction, and that's when we purchased it. And I started out thinking I'd like to do a bed and breakfast, and I thought, no, dummy, it's going to be like having a restaurant. You're going to be tied down all the time. This way I take it by reservation, and I just don't take anything that week. And this week I have 4, which is unusual. I usually have 1 or 2 a month is more average, except at Christmas time, then it gets a little crazy, but that's fine. You know, I enjoy doing it. I like to cook, I like to bake, I don't like it clean, I don't like to do laundry. That's why I don't do bed and breakfast. Used to be Lebanon.
Were there any original lights?
No, they had all been replaced and none of them were worth salvaging. No, there were no original lights.
The woodwork is all original.
The woodwork is all original, yes. Now, this pocket door was missing, And there was a modern kitchen in this room, which we tore out, and so we had to have some of the wood milled around there. You can see it's a little bit different, but this gentleman did a pretty good job.
Where did all the antiques come
not
from?
Original. There was a white brick fireplace here, and it just looked atrocious in this house, and I kept saying, Dick, you got to get rid of that. So we went out to Ohio, and we found that it had been in a fire, and the guy said, hey, I'll sell it to you for $200 or whatever. It was pitch black, so Dick brought it home and pressure washed it, and it came out some kind of a granite or something. I'm not sure what it is, but I really liked it. And our contractor cut about that much off on each side and just slid it right in. It was just great, that it fit, because we didn't take measurements when we went out there.
Did you have most of the other antiques, or did you have to round those up?
No, I did not. There are a few things here. The brass bed was my mom and dad, and 7 of us 8 kids were born in that bed. Not in this house, but yeah. And the cedar chest was my mom and dad's wedding gift from my father's parents. And trying to think of this. Pretty much everything else I bought in antique shops, or I got quite a bit on public auctions locally. And I have a Mennonite friend who reupholsters, and she did this furniture, and she did this furniture, the dining room chairs. And so it was fun, and my husband kept saying, quit buying all this junk. I said, don't worry about it. I know where I'm going to put it. I have room for everything, and it worked out. It's okay.
Did a great job.
Thank you. It was fun. And I didn't have to hurry to do it. I had time, because my sister used to come over and she'd say, Sophie, you'll never see this place get done. Now, we still have that shed to do. We just got the barn done recently. But
was the woodwork painted?
Pardon me?
Was the woodwork painted when you
Actually, this woodwork was not. The kitchen had about 5 layers on the wainscoting. And there's a couple bedrooms upstairs that you could probably see that we had. They were painted at that end of the house. But pretty much, it was in good condition. They just kind of roughed it up a little and put like a semi-dull finish to it. And
These doors are original then?
yes, yes. The front doors are original. We did have to have the one repaired. It was rotted at the bottom from the weather. But they're very heavy and
Did you choose the curtains and the carpeting and everything, or did you have it? Did you really? You have quite a talent.
Well, thank you. It's just all what I like.
Well, it looks like it's professionally done.
Thank you.
Yes.
I enjoyed it. It was fun. And Wednesday was always my day off at the restaurant, and then I would go running.
Is it difficult to install the air conditioning?
No, actually it was not. And it's called Energy Pack, and if you notice there's little round holes in the floor. Upstairs they're in the ceiling. And it's the type of heating, I think it's called a Unico system. And it's what they use like in old houses like in Williamsburg. Because
Do you use the bedroom?
oh yes, sometimes I actually stay here. Sometimes we have friends that come in for a wedding or a funeral and they need a place to stay. We've shared it with some missionaries who've been home on furlough and they just needed a few days to recuperate or go back to their field or back to their home. I have some friends who have relatives from Alabama. They've been here a couple times. We actually had a young Mennonite couple, newlyweds, stay here for their honeymoon. He had just changed jobs, and they didn't feel that they had money to go away, and they wondered would I let them stay here. And they didn't want anyone to know where they were. She came with coolers, and I mean, it wasn't out to eat. She cooked here. And it was sort of funny, because his aunt and uncle live out here at the end of the lane, and they never knew they were back here. They kept it secret. They really did. So we've had, things like that. This Saturday night, I'm having a class of 58 from Fredericksburg. My high school class. We're getting together, just the Fredericksburg kids, because we were part of the jointure. We were the last classes to graduate from Jonestown and Fredericksburg. So.